Well, good morning and happy Mother's Day. I'm Reverend John Riley, Senior Minister here at Unity Palo Alto Spiritual Center, and I'd like to welcome you to our live celebration service, Shelter and Grace Edition. We're so glad that you joined us today. And if you're new to Unity, what we want you to know is that Unity is an inclusive, worldwide spiritual movement, welcoming people from all walks of life. Unity teaches that you are created with sacred worth. And that light that is within you is here to shine brightly so that you can show your individuality, so you can be yourself in the world and be a part of the world by expressing that divine essence that is you. And so we're so glad that you're here, and we teach positive, practical spiritual principles that you can apply in your life every day if you choose to help you live a more joyful and abundant life. We're so grateful for your presence here today, and with us is our platform leader, Brenna Franzen, and Deborah Winters is our soloist with Russell Norman on piano. And so we begin our service this morning with our opening song. Deborah, take it away.
Thank you, John. This goes out to all the mothers out there and to my mama, too, and to thank you all for your beautiful love. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I am a gift, no matter what age, no matter how I look, there's beauty in each stage. I am a gift, and I promise every day, when I look in the mirror, I'll say, I am a gift. I am a gift. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Yes, it returns to me. It returns to me. I am a gift.
Thank you, Deborah. You are a gift, as all are we. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. I will always remember this as the Mother's Day that Deborah, Tiffany, and I were making faces at each other while John was talking, and then it panned to us to say hello to all of you. So I hope you enjoyed that show. Good morning. My name is Brenna Franzen, and it's so good to connect with you this morning. Welcome to Unity Palo Alto's online service. We are a part of a worldwide movement of prayer, publishing, and education, teaching positive, practical, spiritual principles that you can apply every day to help you live a more joyful and abundant life. Unity is a spiritual movement. We're welcoming, inclusive, and wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here. We have 5 core principles that guide us on that path. And the first one is God is. There's only one power and presence active in the universe and in our lives, and that is God, the good, omnipotent. God is the substance and intelligence in every person and all of creation. At Unity, we know that thoughts in mind produce after their kind. We have the ability to affect our world through the law of mind action. We also practice prayer and meditation. This connects us with the creative, constructive power of God to work in and through us. And we've got to do that each and every day, that practical application. As we live according to these truths daily, we become what we were created to be, living expressions of the image of God. These 5 core principles guide us in living our vision statement, and I'd like to invite you to affirm that with me. Together, centered in God, we co-create a world that works for all. And so it is. All right, we are a welcoming and vibrant community with many opportunities for virtual sacred service, spiritual growth, and celebrating our community. First up, we have every second Sunday after the service, we come together in affirmative prayer. That's today. Infuse our community prayer requests with love and blessings before we send them off to Silent Unity, where they are held in prayer for 30 days. This meditation service is led by the lovely, the fantastic, the amazing Casey Wicker, LUT, and is the same sacred practice used by Silent Unity. One heart, one voice in prayer, affirming the light within. That's today, right after the service at 10:50. We also have our midweek uplift that's back on Wednesdays with the talented, the fantastic, the spectacular Reverend John Riley. We will begin with the daily word, a meditation, and then hold each other in affirmative prayer. This is a great way to boost your spiritual experience halfway through the week. Get that little boost. It's on May 12th at 8:30 in the morning. And then the class that I'd like to announce today is called Braving Forgiveness. This is one of the most courageous spiritual practices and one of the most rewarding, the practice of forgiveness. This is not a casual act or superficial work. It's an ongoing, and we are trying to give up that clinging to something and reclaiming our inner power as spiritual beings. This class uses the braving paradigm that Brene Brown developed based on years of data on trusting relationships, and it applies to internal forgiveness work. So we have 2 options, Tuesdays at 7 and Wednesdays at noon, starting the first week in June. So I hope you can join us for that. All of these opportunities are on our website. You can click the links on these events to sign up and register. For information on these and other opportunities, you can go to unitypaloalto.org and check out our social media channels. There are so many ways to connect with us and share the good news that is Unity Palo Alto. We are the good news. All right, if you are watching us on YouTube or Facebook, you might have seen my Happy Mother's Day comment. We invite you to pop on over to that chat room and greet each other. You can put your hand on your heart or outstretched in front of you, send that love out to your friends in Unity. If you're tuning in for the first time or back from a long absence, we would also love to hear from you. We invite you to fill out an online connection card, which can be found on our website at unitypaloalto.org/live. Happy Sunday, everyone. All right, we're going to turn it back over to Deborah for our call to worship song.
When I look in your eyes, I see the beloved looking back at me. And when I stand next to you, I can feel the beloved in you. You are my soul, you are my inspiration. With you in my heart, I am never alone. We are one. touch your heart, I feel the beloved, feel the beloved touching me. And when I open my heart, I open to the beloved, to the beloved in me, and to the beloved in you, to the beloved in me.
Today's daily word is motherly love, and our affirmation is, I give thanks for motherly love. God's love, expressing through my mother, gave me life. God's love, wisdom, and strength guided her and all those who nurtured me as I grew. My words of praise and gratitude let me show my mother how much I appreciate her. When I wish to demonstrate my appreciation for my mother's example, I share the nurturing, motherly love of God in my words and actions with all people. Remembering the times when my mother or another compassionate person listened patiently and shared encouraging words, I seek to be a caring, supportive presence. Recalling my mother's joy each time I learned something new, I share my skills and knowledge willingly when someone seeks my help. In gratitude, I share the gift of nurturing love. And our scripture is from Isaiah chapter 66, verse 13. As a mother confronts her child, so I will comfort you. Back to you, Deborah.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. You are here to love. You are here no matter what is true. This moment's here for you to love. And you are here in grace. You are here no matter where you go. This moment's here for you to embrace. You are here for good. You are here forever, everywhere. One universe to share for good. No, you'll never lose your way. The signs will always say you are here.
Thank you, Deborah. And happy Mother's Day, everyone out there. To all of the mothers, to all of those who are motherly, who play a motherly role, to all of the up-and-coming mothers, to anybody who has that experience. We're so grateful for your presence and your love in our lives. To honor Mother's Day, I'd like to honor my mother, Joyce Riley, and read a poem from her book, Color This Day Beautiful. This is the title poem called Color This Day Beautiful by Joyce Riley. Color this day beautiful. Don't leave it black and white. Let your smile be a rainbow which fills each day with light. Let your thoughts outline the picture. With words, fill it in. Color this day beautiful. Think love and then begin. Dip your artist's fingers into the light. Paint the day with joy until it shines. Draw to mind a picture pure and bright, and never keep your love between the lines. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. We're so grateful for all of our mothers. Well, and good morning and welcome. We're so grateful here. It is such a beautiful day here in the Bay Area. And wherever you are in the world, whether it's raining, whether it's snowing, whether it's hailing, whatever's happening in your neck of the woods, just know that it is always a beautiful day in our consciousness if we let it be. And that was a quote by one of my dear friends and colleagues, Reverend Dr. Paul Hesselbeck. He always liked that saying, it's always a beautiful day in our consciousness. And sometimes it takes a little effort to make that day beautiful. Have you noticed? Now, what I've noticed around the world, and we've talked about this before, but what I've noticed is that there is a lot of anxiety right now. There is a lot of energy that's flowing around this whole pandemic and opening up. Is it time? Is it not time? And just a general vibration of energy that's a little anxious. And it's showing up in many different ways. In fact, I recently this morning read an article that Spain has opened up and there were hundreds of people celebrating because the COVID restrictions have been removed for most of the country. And a beautiful picture of people celebrating, I think 3 people with masks on. And then the next article down was how India is suffering so much. Over 400,000 new cases of COVID yesterday. And so when we look at these two complete opposite ends of the spectrum, it leaves us wondering, well, what's ours to do? And then when we start to talk about it, everyone has their opinion, right? And what we do with opinions, and we share them. And if somebody doesn't agree with us, that can cause a little stress and strain. Depending on how deep the relationship is, depending on how wide the gap is between you, there can be a lot of animosity that's built up in there. And what's interesting is it's not the act of disagreeing that's the problem, it's what's built up within us. It's that built up anxiety, fear, based on fear, that is a pressure keg within us. And it's, when you think about it, after over a year of this, it's kind of like, well, yeah. And it's at times like these when we realize that we really have to dig deep into spiritual practice and spiritual principle. We have, I know that there's a lot of anxiety in the realm. We experience it in this collective consciousness, right? This idea of the group consciousness, the consciousness of all human beings. And there are some who are really tuned into that, who see that there's a lot of anxiety being expressed into the world, and it gets expressed in shootings, it gets expressed in bombings, it gets expressed in racism, it gets expressed in persecuting people. There's so many ways in which it's being expressed that people are starting to lose heart because of it. But that's a great reminder to know that powder keg that's within there needs to come up so that we can heal it. Again, we have to dig deep into spiritual principles to do it. And I know that there's a lot of anxiety here because there are more and more people contacting me for prayer, for for spiritual guidance, for spiritual, or just to talk, right? There's a lot going on even within our community. And so as we get to that point of knowing that there's, stuff happening, we're not quite there yet, and when we get there, what's life going to be like? What's emerging? And what's happening in the world around us? And what I think is fascinating, of course, I'm not immune to it at all either. So there are times when I'm, get down into the nitty-gritty, into the weeds, as they say, right? I'm in the weeds of all of the fear that's growing. I'm in the weeds of the doubt. I'm in the weeds of the uncertainty. I'm in the weeds of the FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, as I think IBM called it. We get there. That's part of life. And so I dig down into my spiritual principles and this idea of, look for the good. Because what I know that is when I see good in the world, I see God. Because if God is within us and all around us and active in every part of the universe, when we see good, we're seeing God. Now, I know for myself, if I'm so focused on the problem, so focused on what he or she said or didn't say, so focused on, what that frustration in that relationship or on the news, and all that frustration starts to turn into anger, starts to turn into resentment, starts to turn into revenge in a human being. When I see that in myself, I go back to that principle, look for the good. Now, here's sometimes what happens, look for the good. And so, that's what that higher consciousness is telling me. And my adverse ego, my pain body is saying, yeah, you go look for the good. I'm going to look for everything else. Have you ever experienced that? How often during the day are you looking at or ruminating on or replaying some story in your mind that's based on anything but good? So I was getting to that point where I was getting really frustrated, and I had spoken to some colleagues. We have a weekly call with some ministers around the globe, and one of them talked about an author named Martha Smock. Now, Martha was she was the director of Daily Word for about 30 years. I think she started in the 40s, and she wrote several books. And one of the books that my colleague talked about said, oh, this is a wonderful book. You need to go read it. You need to check it out. So I went online. It's been out of print for quite some time. I think I found one on Amazon for like $700. But we do have a lending library, right, in our fireside room. So I went in there and I found a couple of books by Martha Smock. Now, this isn't the book that she recommended. And so I'm like, oh, I don't have the right book, but I'll take these two anyway. And I'm sitting there at my desk feeling, the frustration. We've all gotten there. And feeling, and all of that frustration, all of that resentment, all of that anger, all of that stuff comes from a sense of fear. It comes up from a sense of powerlessness. And when we're acting out of revenge, when we're acting out of anger and frustration, it's coming from our own sense of powerlessness. We are not tapped into that inner source of power. So I'm sitting there, untapped, I guess is the right term, and I look down, and the book that I'm holding right here by Martha Smock says, "Fear not," with an exclamation point. Now, I'm the kind of guy, you open a page and you read something, and yeah, it can apply in your life. But I can find meaning in pretty much anything. I can find the good in a lot of things if I'm really looking for it. So I'm like, okay, I'll open it up. Let's just see. I opened up to the page, and the very first thing I see on the right-hand side, mid-sentence, is in quotes, "Peace, be still," with exclamation points. I'm like, okay, here we go. Peace, be still to the surging waves of emotions that would overpower you. In Christ you are calmed and quieted. And in Christ we understand that to be that divine spark that's within us, that higher consciousness that's within us, that ability for us to tune in to that divine essence of God. In Christ you are calmed and quieted, the rest of Christ's presence, and feel strengthened and upheld. Remember that through good things Remember, though things change, God is changeless and enduring. God's love is eternal. God's life is eternal. You can never lose your own. You're always and forever one in spirit with those with whom you love. If your life seems to be going through an upheaval of change, Christ is at the heart of you, at the heart of all. That divine essence is at the heart of you and at the heart of all. Now, I went on in my room, I walked around and I preached to myself because it seemed like the thing to do. When you're downhearted and depressed, down in spirit, when you feel unworthy, when you feel inferior, when you tell yourself that you don't have what it takes to succeed in life, there is something you sense but may not hear because you do not want to hear. But strong and persistent, the voice is speaking. Sometimes in you, it knows and something in you knows and has always known that there is yet more in you. You are dissatisfied and discouraged, not because of what you lack, but because of what you have not yet expressed. There is more than you know. Do you not know how remarkable you are? Do you not know that you are much more than you believe yourself throughout your being? Speak words of life. Enter the life stream, the eternal flow of life. Whew, now if there was nothing else, the universe was giving me a shouting, wasn't it? And how many of us during this time of anxiety and fear have felt less than? How many of us have felt that we're down in the gutter? And when you're down in the gutter, that's the time to really let go. That's the meaning of let go and let God. You know, when that book and that passage came to me at the right time because I was at my end. I said, okay, God, this is up to you. You know, in Unity we teach affirmative prayer, where we are affirming our oneness with God, where we are consciously creating an energy, a field, and drawing upon that field of love, drawing upon that field of harmony and healing and wholeness, and drawing upon that source that's always within us. That's affirmative prayer. And when we draw upon that source and pray with somebody, we're extending that energy out into the world. We're giving that person that energy. We're surrounding them with love and compassion. And there are times when we just can't get there. And it's kind of like I asked the universe, and the universe is kind of going, you wanted a human experience. This is all part of the human experience. And it's okay. Because you are something more than just this human experience. So when people call me, or when you're feeling down, or when you're feeling like you need prayer, that's the time when we let go. That's the time when we reach out. And when we reach out and let go of all the concerns that we have and give it over to the universe fills it fast, immediately. All we have to do is be open to see it. You are more than you appear. You are stronger than you believe. You are holy even in your history of unholiness that you might perceive as unholiness. And there was always within you that spark. There was always available to you that essence of divine love. It's always there. And there are times when we can reach it, and there are times that we can't. So in my time of my pain body, as Eckhart Tolle might say, of saying, yeah, you go look for that good. I had to get back to the basics. I got back to breathing, mindful breathing, yoga breathing. Is the same breathing as what the military calls tactical breathing, right? 4 counts up, hold it for 4 counts. 4 counts out, hold it for 4 counts. Repeat. Mindfulness, getting back to breathing, getting back to allowing myself to let go. Getting back to looking for the good in life. And when you look for the good in life, you can find it everywhere. You just have to be willing to see it. It could be anything. So yesterday, I took my son to baseball at coaching in San Jose, and it's near Dana Avenue, and they have a municipal rose garden down in San Jose. Blooming, just vibrant colors. As soon as you walk in to the area, you can smell the roses. Such beauty. And there were hundreds of people there. Now here, almost all of them had masks. But there were people having a wedding and taking photos. There were people in their indigenous clothing celebrating life and taking videos. There were couples. There were people reading on the bench. There were people having picnics. It was a beautiful scene, and I got to walk amongst the maze of roses and smell them and look for the little bugs on them and be a part of life. There's good everywhere. Our kitten, I don't know if she's a kitten. She's 9 months old or so now. I guess that's still a kitten. She's exploring the backyard now. She hasn't learned that she can climb the fence. She watches her big brother, Frodo, leap up the fence and sits there and going, wow, I wish I could do that. And when you call her, she comes running. Is this a cat or a dog? I don't know. She's learned to climb the tree. She was up like 20 feet up in the air. The crows didn't like that. No, the crows came over and gave her a scolding, and then she had to figure out how to get down. Amazing expression and experience of life. How much joy it was just sitting there watching this cat do its thing. And when we allow those experiences to fill us up, it's a choice. We have to say, yes, I'm going to accept this joy. Then we're seeing the good in life. Then we're seeing God. Now, if you're feeling down, if you're at your rung, I invite you to fill out a prayer request. You can scroll down. It should be a link down below you, whether you're on our website, on Facebook, or on YouTube, and fill out a prayer request. And we hold that in prayer for you. Send me an email. Send me a voicemail. I am here for you. If you would like time with me in prayer, I am here for you. If you'd like to just speak, to talk, to chat, to let me know how you're doing, I'm here for you. There's so many good things happening here at Unity Palo Alto. From today, Casey Wicker, our incredible licensed Unity teacher, is holding a prayer service. We do this every second Sunday of the month, right after the service at 11 o'clock Pacific time. And it's a wonderful half hour of sitting in immersive, affirmative prayer, of sitting in meditation and allowing that energy to fill you up and express out throughout the world. Casey just does a wonderful job of creating that sacred space. My midweek uplift, my midweek uplift every Wednesday morning at 8:30 Pacific time has been fantastic. We get together, we do a little reading, usually the daily word. We go into an affirmative prayer and meditation, and then we come out of it and we hold the vision of how we can uplift each other. Every person tells us, well, how can I support you in, let's say the daily word was healing. How can we support you in healing today? It's so wonderful. We learned that through that process, it's changed my mindset of doing laundry. Laundry is the gateway to joy. Right? We don't like doing the laundry, but we like it when it's done. So isn't that a different mindset? I don't have this chore now. It's like, when I do this, this is my gateway to joy. How can we reframe our life like that? All of the things that are dragging us down. Now, I'm going to be adding some more uplifts, and I'd like to know when you'd like to do it. I was thinking about doing one at noon on Tuesdays and maybe one in the evenings. I just don't know when yet. So if that's something that's of interest to you, if you want to participate in that healing prayer circle, then feel free to send me an email and tell me when you'd like to have it, and I'll do my best to accommodate that. Coming up, we have the class Braving Forgiveness. I think it was Mary McMahon who said, I asked her, well, how would you describe it? And she said, life-changing. Braving forgiveness. We're using Brene Brown's braving methodology, braving terminology about braving trust, but we're using it from a perspective of healing and learning forgiveness from the inside out. It's a powerful model. and it's based on years of data that Brene Brown has done. And we're just applying it from that forgiveness model. Now, some people say, I don't need any forgiveness work. I'm good. That's fantastic. If you're living joyfully and blissfully every moment of the day, you're good. If there's anything other than that, if you're ever dipping down into resentment, it's an opportunity. This last weekend, I was in an intensive workshop for a 2-day intensive that was very powerful for me. It was on demystifying race, put on by Milagros Phillips. A 2-day intensive of learning, of education, and then a day of healing and expression. And so after Braving Forgiveness, she and I are working on having her come here, and we'll have a workshop and a class afterwards called The Courage to Heal. Because if we're worried about the collective consciousness, we need to heal this idea. And it takes courage to step into the willingness to participate in that. So Braving Forgiveness, Courage to Heal. And then after that, I'll be holding my class called Dare to Lead, based on Brene Brown's book, Dare to Lead. Braving Forgiveness, Courage to Heal, Dare to Lead. They might overlap a little bit, but they'll be on different days. And then in the fall, and then in August, that's late summer, we're going to dive into this idea of prayer. I'm working with my dear friend and colleague, Reverend Deanne Weir-Morency, and she is working with the head of Silent Unity to create a new paradigm around unity prayer. It's called Prayer for the 21st Century. And they've been test driving a prayer chaplaincy program based on this. And so we're going to bring this here, I think, in August. And at the end of it, there's a wonderful prayer retreat in September at the Mercy Center, which is open. And of course, there will be restrictions, whatever those look like. We don't know yet. That's our future. And there's so much here for you. If you need us, we're here. And the wonderful thing about spiritual community is that we grow together. We are one together. We are whole together. We are the wholeness of life. Let's go to our affirmation. I'm going to read this affirmation and then invite you to affirm it with me. And so let's take it slow so it really sinks in. Let's take it slow and say it with energy. Say it with a knowing that this is the truth for us, acknowledging and accepting it. I'll read it first and then we can affirm it together. I meet each new challenge with patience and tolerance, assured that all things are possible through the ageless omnipresence of my sacred self. I have a sacred connection to the allness of life, love, and wisdom. Would you affirm that with me now together? I meet each new challenge with patience and tolerance, assured that all things are possible through the ageless omnipresence of my sacred self. I have a sacred connection to the allness of life, love, and wisdom. And so it is. There is so much good in our world. So much that we sometimes forget. And we need to remind ourselves. We need to retune in to that vibration of health and wholeness. We need to retune in to that vibration of knowing our oneness. I'd like to end today with another poem from my mom's book, Color This Day Beautiful. It's called Keep the Joy. Anger, fear, and envy have the power to destroy, but I'll not let them break my heart or take away my joy. My thoughts create my world, so I will take control. With an atmosphere of love and light, I will fill my soul. Let's take that into our time of meditation and affirmative prayer. I invite you to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath and to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or simply soften your gaze as we move into a time of stillness, as we move into a time turning within to that inner resource, shutting out the outer, letting go of the outer. With each breath, I let go of the thoughts that are filling my mind. With each breath, I let go of the pain that I'm holding on to, the fear that is filling me. I simply let it go. And as I breathe mindfully, my thoughts drift away. My heart opens to Spirit. My soul begins to soar as I rest in the stillness, in the silence. With each breath, I affirm I have a sacred connection with the allness of life, love, and wisdom. Any challenge that I meet today, I meet with patience and tolerance. I allow the ageless omnipresence of my sacred self to express. As my thoughts create my world, I take control. With an atmosphere of love, light, I fill my soul, and I express that to all the world. With that joy in our heart, with that love expressing and radiating from us, with that harmonizing, healing energy being sent out into the world, I celebrate by singing the Alleluia.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
And with a nice, deep cleansing breath, we allow that joy and that love to radiate from us as we move into a time of affirmative prayer. We surround all of those prayer chests, all of those prayer requests with our love. And if there's somebody who you hold in prayer, I invite you to say their name out loud now or bring their name to mind. For all of the prayers in our prayer chest, for all of the prayers that we hold in our hearts, for each person that we are surrounding with love, that we are surrounding with healing, wholeness, oneness, we affirm that divine love is doing its perfect work in every situation. We affirm that divine love is lifting us up here and now, helping us discover that spiritual magnificence that's within us, and helping us to live and express that magnificence every moment of the day. We give thanks for all of the first responders, all of the doctors and nurses, everybody who is helping and supporting us through this pandemic. We surround them with our love, with our healing energy, and we see them uplifted. We hold our world, national, state, and local leaders in this same prayer, seeing them making wise and loving decisions for peace on earth, for goodwill, equality, and justice for all people. And for this time together, for this shared experience of good, for this shared experience of God. We are joyfully grateful. We are richly blessed. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, John. Each month, Unity Palo Alto shares a portion of our donations with a safety net organization serving the Bay Area. This month, we are sharing our abundance with Girls to Women. Lakiba Pittman is here to talk about what they do.
Hello, my name is Lakiba Pittman, and I want to thank you so much on behalf of our founder, Patricia Foster, for your support of Girls to Women located in East Palo Alto. Thank you, Unity. You may know that Ms. Foster was the former mayor of East Palo Alto from 1999 to 2008, and during her tenure, 3 parents came to her asking for a safe, nurturing place for their daughters. That was really the impetus behind her creating a nonprofit dedicated to girls, and Girls to Women became a reality in 2007. Of course, over these 14 years, our girls have grown into women, gone on to college, and some have graduated and returned to work at the program or to volunteer. And we even have a few mothers. So over the years, as the community has changed, the needs have changed, but over all of those years, a few things have remained constant. While we focus on girls, Girls to Women is really about supporting families and helping families. So our parents are very engaged in our program, and it's where we get feedback from them and involvement that all gives us insight into what we'll do to help our girls, or how we'll expand our program, or what needs need to be met on behalf of our families. So traditionally, we've offered this safe space for girls. We provide snacks, opportunities to learn and grow. We have homework assistance program for many years, and eventually the school started to create after-school programs, and so we ventured into other areas. For example, we had a community garden, photography projects, poetry and writing, art programs, science fairs. We've received science kits from several companies and organizations. And I actually teach the mindfulness classes, which includes how to be more empathetic and compassionate to others as well as to oneself. So, because as I said, the needs of the parents dictates the direction we go. During the pandemic, we found that many of our parents needed emergency assistance, emergency rental assistance, assistance with PG&E, assistance with food. So we're currently providing rental assistance to 18 families per month. And we also have been providing virtual classes in art, mindfulness, science, dance, whatever the girls say that they're interested in and are willing to try. Because it's all about the family, we've included siblings during this pandemic phase, and we now have 7 boys in our program and about 20 plus girls. Every year we have a fun run. It started at Palo Alto Baylands, and for the last few years, it's been at Shoreline Park. And last year, for the first time, we had a virtual fun run. Everybody signed up online, got their t-shirts, and sent us a video of their own run. So that was a lot of fun as well. So in closing, we're girls to women. Thank you, Unity. Yay, so much for your support. We literally couldn't do what we do without the support of people like you. So on behalf of our founder, Patricia Foster, our board, our staff, and most of all, our families, we thank you. And I've had fortune to visit Unity many times. And so just from my heart to yours, we thank you so much for helping us to support our girls.
Thank you, Lakiba, Patricia, and Girls to Women. We're proud to support you, and we would like to bless you by saying, Girls to Women, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the beneficial presence of love that you are. And so it is.
Well, thank you, everyone. We are so blessed to have you with us here today. And if Unity Palo Alto's goal is to help you feel uplifted, help you discover that spiritual magnificence that's within you, and begin to express that out into the world. If you feel uplifted by our service today, we invite you to like, subscribe, and share our posts on your favorite social media channel, or all of our social media channels. We'd like to invite you to make a donation, because Unity Palo Alto is here because of the generosity of our donors, of you, and we're so grateful for all of your gifts. The affirmation that we say is on the screen, and I invite you to affirm that with me together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is.
Open the eyes of my heart, I want to see you. I want to see you. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Any fool can do it. There ain't nothing to it. Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. But since we're on our way down, we might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is in opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let that stand in your way. 'Cause anyone knows that love is the only road. And since we're only here for a while, we might as well show some style. Give us a smile. And isn't it a lovely ride? Oh, sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. The secret of life is in opening up your heart.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Brenna. It's so grateful to have you here to celebrate our spiritual community and to create this experience with us. We're grateful for your presence. We look forward to seeing you at our prayer service right after the service today. And with that, we'll move into our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Love and blessings, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.